Right here.
It's on already. It's on. It's on.
Now. It's on.
It's on.
There
Yes.
Bring us in, Alicia.
All right, y'all. Listen. Y'all listen. We about to have this conversation. Come over close. I ain't gonna bite you. We about to have this conversation about Tsplost and loss. Okay. Now, he is for it. He is against it. And I'm going to be neutral right now, but I'm going to tell you at the end how I feel about this, okay? All right, now, to my left is Commissioner A. Whiteley, who is promoting it. To my right is Chuck Fagan, Better Savannah, who is totally against it. Now, I'm going to let you start. Okay, Commissioner A. Whiteley, and give your take on
Tsplost.
Tsplost, yes.
All right, so we're going to do Tsplost first, and
what's
then we'll
going
go
to
into loss.
benefit? Yes.
All right, so first of all, to give an idea of Tsplost would be an additional penny in sales tax, in addition to what we already pay, to only be for roads and so on and so forth. A history of Tsplost. Tsplost initially started late 80s, early 90s, and it was for roads and drainage and so on and so forth. It has evolved into capital projects. So a lot of these community centers, fields, and so on and so forth have been used with Tsplost, been created or built with Tsplost money. Those are called capital projects. With that being the case, Tsplost is only for transportation, roadways, as well as drainage associated with roadways. The reason I'm for Tsplost is because I believe that by us sharing in the cost of making these roadway updates, when we think of areas such as the east side that have a lot of flooding, when I think of Anderson Street going under that railway, when I think of Gwinnett Street, so on and so forth. All these areas that we have, I have a lot of areas in my district, Windsor Forest, and so on and so forth, that have a lot of flooding issues. We can actually use this money to actually update those. There is a list that each city and municipality within Chatham County has submitted that is a part of this referendum. So when you're voting on the referendum, it is not that you're voting and then we come back later and say generally what the projects are. However, there in this list, there are some areas that are general. I'll give an example. If we were talking about City of Savannah, you'll have various resurfacing projects to the tune of $20 million. Now, those resurfacing projects have not been designated. That'll be left to City Council to determine. Same with Thunderbolt, various resurfacing projects. A couple of things that I think are in the positive, the resurfacing projects, $20 million for that. That means we can really resurface a lot of roads, local roadway mitigation, local roadway congestion mitigation. That's $41 million. So areas where we have high traffic in Savannah specifically, that $41 million, $41.5 million would be used for that. Sidewalk expansion and maintenance. And that's just Savannah. Thunderbolt has the same thing. Shell Road sidewalk. Various resurfacing project. Now, again, where those areas are going to be has to be determined by those councils. But if we do not actually pass this, then what's going to happen? We still have the need. We're still flooding at Durin and Durin and Abercorn and so on and so forth. So what are we going to do? We're going to have to raise taxes eventually, or do cutbacks in other areas to actually repair and get our roadways up to snuff. So my thought is, instead of making that cost go to the taxpayers, the renters, those of us that goes into our cost of living, considering we're already having an affordable housing issue where it's already expensive to find a place to live. If you can find a place to live, let's share that cost with the people who come and visit us. When we go and travel to places like Jacksonville, Atlanta, we're paying 9-10% sales tax, whereas we're looking to go up to 8. So that's kind of my gist of it. Now, Tsplost is Tsplost. Loss is not on the ballot. Loss is not on the ballot. I repeat.
It wouldn't be on the ballot.
I know. And
it doesn't have to be on the ballot.
Right. Unless it goes away. So what's happening right now is that there are negotiations for loss, which is local option sales tax.
Let's bookmark that. Let's agree to bookmark that, because I think the arguments that you just opened up with about not putting things onto the backs of renters and homeowners. I think that's going to be very applicable to that discussion later on. So let's just stick with the Tsplost now. I think there's some decent projects on the list. Certainly, if you live in the Highlands, the Benton Boulevard atrociousness is something you deal with on a daily basis. For those that are coming in and out to downtown from the islands on the President Street, there are some projects that have long been wanting for, and I'm not going to come on here tonight and argue against any specific project. My opposition, and I think much of our opposition to this Tsplost referendum, is much less about the project list itself as it is about the leaders who are putting forth those projects. So let's try to agree to a couple of facts, Commissioner. We agree that sales tax is by nature a regressive tax, right? We agree with that people who have less income pay a higher percentage of their income towards sales tax?
Arguably.
Okay, so we'll leave that there. The loss tax, or not the law, but any loss or loss tax, is collected at the county level. It's collected by the county. It goes through Commissioner Sonia Jackson's office. My question to make sure we agree on is who actually collects and deposits those sales tax dollars? It's typically the businesses, right?
The
sales tax money gets paid on a quarterly basis from the businesses?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right? Okay.
Throughout the county.
Okay, throughout the county. All right, so now we agree on that fact as well. Out of Chatham County's entire, what you would call GDP, our economy, how much of the GDP of the economic activity, meaning those sales tax dollars, how much of the percentage of the collection is generated within the municipal boundaries of Savannah? How much of the overall pie of sales tax dollars, whether we're talking about E-Splost, regular Splost, T-Splost, or loss, any of the above, how much of those dollars are generated within the city limits of Savannah? The answer to that question is somewhere in the ballpark of 65%, right? So 65 cents of every dollar of any sales tax collected in this county at the county level is generated within our municipal borders, where we have to provide the services to those businesses to allow them to thrive, to allow them to collect those sales taxes. So without going into loss yet, because it's very applicable here, 65% of the funds for this Tsplost of the 500 million, 300 million of it is going to be generated within the municipal boundaries of Savannah. And yet the city list for projects is only 32% of the overall portion of the funds generated. Now, the obvious counter argument to that is there are some county projects that will, Savannians and Savannah businesses and community members will benefit from. And I'm willing to accept that argument in this context only of the Tsplost. But as we are going to segue into loss negotiations here, when you see this same frame of concept being used in the argument where 65% of the funds are generated within the municipal boundaries of Savannah, but you're only going to get a third of them back, this seems to be a problem of equity for Savannians.
All right, let's put a pin in that real quick, Chuck, because when we talk about the total collection of Tsplost, we're looking at about $408 million. Of that, Chatham County, who is responsible for the entire county. So when we look at our Tier 1 projects, for example, our Tier 1 projects, Little Neck Road, Truman Parkway, Interstate 95 and 204, as well as the Airport Avenue in Pooler Parkway, and Highway 17 corridor, which affect multiple jurisdictions. So the county's allocation of that 408 million would be 187. You know who the second largest would be? 143 million in city of Savannah.
Yeah, okay, so now you got all of this right here.
I'm talking about Tier 1.
Okay.
I'm not leaving this out. Please don't. Okay. I'm not trying to hide the list. The list is public. The point I'm talking about is when we talk about the actual allocations and where it's going and so on and so forth, understand that just like you said, Chuck did just say, that the county's allocation is not only going to unincorporated Chatham County. It's going throughout the county, which is also the same with Lost. And going to service delivery, there are 31 essential services that the county provides that they provide across the county with no help from any of the municipalities.
We don't pay property taxes?
But you pay property taxes.
I sure do pay.
You do pay M&O taxes, but again, those costs go up. So overall, when we talk about service delivery and you talk about share of things like that, I'm not saying that the city of Savannah does not generate a large percentage of the tax. I'm not saying that. I'm not
What
saying.
services are you talking about?
Well,
Give us an example.
I thought you would never ask. I happened to bring some receipts just to make sure we're on the same page. So the people who we fund, the sheriff's department. This is a list. I'm gonna go through all of them. The sheriff's department, the county jail, the health department. I'll skip roads and all that. The board of assessors, the board of equalization, the tax commissioner's office, the board of elections, animal control, mosquito control, juvenile court, 911, the public defender's office, indigent defense, Curtis V. Cooper, the library, and Telluride. And that's just to name a few that.
Why do you have these scratched out?
Because these are the ones that most proportionally affect African Americans in our community. Mm-hmm. So like Marine Patrol, though black folks own boats, we're not necessarily the ones who are directly benefiting from that. The coroner's office, which is another constitutional officer, the state court, the magistrate court, the probate court. These are all the things that the county funds on our own without any help from any of the municipalities. So, and that is a responsibility of ours. So,
does the county experience a deficit? Is the county experiencing a deficit in terms of funding those?
No, but the costs are going up, and so ultimately, it's going to lead us all to.
But even with the costs going up, is the county experiencing a deficit?
No. But I'm curious. Why do you ask?
Let me re-ask the question in a better way. Is the
in a
position
different way?
A different way.
Yeah, that's very
Black
is it the position?
Was condescending too.
Is it the position of the county that Savannahans do not pay their fair share to the county budget? Is that the position? Is it the position of the county that Savannahans, the city of Savannah, and its citizens do not pay their fair share to the county budget?
No, that is not the position.
If that's not the position, then why are you guys asking for so much more of the loss?
Hold on, are we talking about Tsplost or are we talking about loss?
I mean, either one.
Okay, and that's fine.
That's a good point. We need to not confuse the people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep it simple. Let's put a pin in that because there's a whole nother argument when it comes to loss. All right.
So what are we going to talk about right now?
We're still talking about Tsplost. So tell me more about why you're against Tsplost. You're spending money to talk against Tsplost. You would prefer to.
Well, let me say this right here. This is one reason why I am against Tsplost. First and foremost, when I look at all these projects that the city of Savannah said that they're going to improve, I don't live in none of these areas.
That's not true.
You understand? Benton Boulevard, I don't live in the Highlands. Okay? Various resurfacing projects. I've been living in the South Side forever and a day, and I haven't seen anything resurfaced. Now, I seen the Department of Transportation come to Middle Ground Road and widen Middle Ground Road. That was the Department of Transportation.
With the county.
Local roadway congestion, but how long ago was that?
Right.
Umpteen years ago. Local roadway congestion mitigation program. Where are you talking about this?
You tell me.
All right.
Tell me.
So we don't know. I don't know. So therefore, I can't that I don't know. Hold on. Let me finish.
To your credit.
Transportation related stormwater improvement program. That's on the east side and possibly the west side.
Yes.
Okay, transportation safety and signal program. That's something that Tsplost would actually take care of. Sidewalk expansion and maintenance program. Tsplost will take care of that. Okay, pedestrian and bicycle safety and connectivity program tied to town. Who gives a care about a bicycle and a trail and all of that stuff? Come on now. No. People hungry. They suffering. They can't. They homeless. They can't pay for rent and what have you. And we talking about bicycles and connectivity programs. Okay. Traffic calming improvement and expansion. Traffic calming. Come on now. Where you gonna? That's something that Tsplost can take. We have budgeted for that in our city
he said
budget.
Something that
okay,
is
hold on.
Key.
Bridge repair program. $3 million, $300,000 for bridges.
No,
$3 million. Yeah, I'm sorry, $3 million.
Yeah.
That's $3 million.
That's one bridge.
Okay.
So
now
that's
just Savannah, $143,500. Now that's the first tier is $7,300,000, $5,700,000.
This is
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, wait a minute.
24
So we
million.
only get oh, come on, man, 45 million
Yeah.
for
So
the first tier.
so can I chime in? All right. When we talk about
45 million for the first tier.
so let's make it clear
Out of 400 and some odd million.
Let's make it clear what the tiered are specific projects, right? The tier 1 are specific projects, right? So when you could say we're not seeing a tier 1 project in certain neighborhoods, absolutely, that's true, right? But these other programs, that's up to y'all, Alderwoman, to decide amongst the council.
Commissioner.
Okay, repeat that. Let him
Jay
repeat
Melder
that.
said that to y'all too.
Repeat that, sir.
He said that
So when it comes to the tier 1 projects for City of Savannah, Benton Boulevard widening is a tier 1 project. That's a specific project. So tier 1 are for specific areas. When you see a tier 1, it's going to have a specific area that you can pinpoint on a map. Another tier 1, or generally at least, the second tier 1 that you have is various resurfacing projects. For the Benton Boulevard widening, you have 24.5 million here allocated. For various resurfacing projects, you have 20 million allocated. Now,
but the problem I have is the word various.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Nothing
this
specific.
This is where I don't feel like you have a dog in the fight. Because
not in the City of Savannah, I don't.
No. You don't even have a dog in the fight with the county. Because the chairman has not facilitated a way in which you have invited the city to the table to assure that you're not generalizing.
No, ma'am. That just respect.
I got a question.
I don't want to talk about.
No.
I don't want to talk about going to lunch at Barnes for a meal that I did not eat.
No.
That's right. But wait a minute, listen to this.
That's not true.
We were told that it was 6 individuals in the room. Could you tell us who all was in the room when y'all had these discussions?
So in the Tsplost discussions,
yes, the first meeting.
It was the first meeting was a gang of folks. You had
no. When it comes down to Tsplost, who from the city is represented in those meetings?
Yes, please tell us.
Let's see. I remember seeing Van. I saw Jay Melder. I saw y'all attorney was there. And I saw Estella Shabazz.
Okay. So who in
what
this
about the 4th district representative? You didn't see that person?
No.
Okay, so who in this room versus who was in that room should have been in that room? Who has the voice of the people?
All right.
Can I answer your question?
That's a challenge though
because this, you know what? When we look at who was in that room, it tells you why Tsplost is not going to pass and why we have the problem we have today.
Okay.
Because we, as Post 1 and Post 2,
at large.
And the district who will be most impacted by Tsplost,
District 1,
Bernetta Lanier, were not in the room
at all.
So, and I think that's a fair assessment. But I just want to be clear. Don't villainize me because I didn't.
No. And I gave you a pass.
No, I just want to be clear.
I gave you a pass from jump to say it's not you.
But the other part that I want to be clear on is that this is the general allocation. When it comes to the actual specific projects, my assumption is for the City of Savannah, I know what it is for the county, because the county, we have some various roadway maintenance and resurfacing. We're going to talk about it and actually we'll have to vote to determine where that money goes.
But various is ambiguous.
Yeah, because we don't know yet.
It's intentionally ambiguous beyond tier 1. That's the way it's
because at the end of the day, I mean, if we wanted to get specific, I guess we could have, but then
they'd all be tier 1 projects though.
But the problem becomes there's nothing ambiguous about our arrival and our service. And that's what's problematic. And so to dial it back, that's why we need to do a reset, right? We have to do a reset because it starts with leadership.
Yeah.
You are not the leader of Chatham County government, unfortunately. And so where we are, we are at an impasse where, I don't know, because the voters are going to determine.
The voters are going to determine if this passes, and should it pass, the voters will also next year determine who's going to determine the allocation.
That's right.
Right.
All right. So I just want to answer the commissioner's question just to end this Tsplost discussion, because the argument
They
that
got
you would
plenty
make
of money.
about rent and property
They
taxes
got a
on the
whole bunch of money. Why
Tsplost,
we
Yeah,
even
this is
giving the
magic.
money?
It's going to cost more than
the rent and property taxes argument that you'll make on the Tsplost is exactly applicable in the opposite direction on the law. So let's set that one aside. For
You
now.
ready?
Let's
You ready to talk about laws?
I'm just answering your question about Tsplost to end that part first, because like I said, this question of rent taxes going up, that cuts both ways on both sides of the street for Tsplost and laws. Let's just stick with the Tsplost. Okay, we got an okie doke on the west side for Brunetto Lanier because the tier 1 project is the Benton Boulevard, but also they're moving the CSX line off of Bay Street through historic West Savannah, cutting right by the historic Weepington property, right? So that was an okie doke for the west side. So number one reason to vote against Tsplost is that port-related growth is really demanding a lot of these projects.
Yes.
Benton Boulevard, the CSX rail line, President Street crossover are all needed because of the immense growth of the port. And the Port of Savannah does not pay any monies directly into the county or city budgets like every other major port in the country does.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
I
Go
beg to
ahead.
differ on
So
that
we
President
want-
Street now.
No. The President Street cars are longer because of the bigger activity on the East Side Terminal down there. That's why the
But
trains are
President
longer.
Street always been a problem, though.
It's always been a problem, but that means we should find a solution. Just because we've
Right,
always
and
had this
this is
problem
a way
of
to-
builders not paying their fair share. So should we not pass impact fees now?
Right, so-
because the
but
next
again-
10,000 homes.
Well, that's
right?
what we're working on. We're working on impact.
No, I know that we are in the city, but just sticking with these Tsplost anti-arguments, right? We've got, the One Chatham initiative, which the chairman said is Tsplost. One Chatham is Tsplost. Tsplost is One Chatham. And that was not what he rolled it out to be 2 years ago. And I'll take your face to be that you just can let that one go. Because One Chatham was appeared to be, it was appeared to be modeled off of Stacey's One Georgia. Right?
Thank you.
You know, was supposed to be an
what?
Overarching
He
theme of
said
policies.
that's
not
something
one
that we
specific
talked about
policy.
when we was at Barnes Restaurant.
No.
Let the truth be told.
The meal that I did not eat.
That you
I
did
was
not
at
eat.
Barnes.
Baby,
That
it was
man did not
$12.
say nothing about no Tsplost and all of this. That
And
man
had
said,
the nerve to say that we could use some of that One Chatham money from
No.
Tsplost for homelessness.
Back up.
Okay? That was the statement. No.
Commissioner,
I'm just saying.
No.
These are real points.
Commissioner Whiteley, do
Ma'am.
you understand Tsplost and One Chatham to be one and the same
Whew.
as it was rolled out?
Come on, somebody. Come on,
Thank you.
somebody.
Thank you.
Let me ask it.
You
Let me ask
know.
it.
You know.
Because y'all know what I
You
just
know
said
what?
about this.
Somebody
That's a trick question, Keisha. So,
No, that's a real
no,
question.
no, so
That's a
listen.
real
listen.
question.
No.
I as it was rolled out, you're right. It was
We know we right.
it was rolled out that
We know we
Tsplost
right.
and One Chatham was the same. As time progressed, and perhaps our chairman took some other advice from some of us. One Chatham
And the
is,
Chamber of Commerce.
One Chatham is something different. In my vision, One Chatham is a concept that we should be operating under, and Tsplost could be a spoke in that wheel.
Oh, a
but
spoke.
it is not the
That's
wheel.
expensive.
So one Chatham is the merging of the city of Savannah.
No, not merging.
Hold
It's
on,
a
hold on.
collaboration.
Hold on.
Well,
The
we're not
merging
gonna do
of
not throw the commissioner under the
hold
bus
on
today.
now.
Okay.
The merging of the city of Savannah and the county.
No, ma'am.
I
No,
mean, you
ma'am.
can say no, ma'am, but that's what it leads to.
No, that's not what it is.
Eventually.
No, that's not what it is.
Just like Tsplost was supposed to be
Two reasons why that
one
can't be the
Chatham.
case.
The
Two
way
reasons why
Stacey
that-
Abrams said Georgia is one Georgia.
No, ma'am. So
y'all come on.
let me
Okay, so
explain.
where do we
Let
go
me
from
explain.
here?
Can
Can we
all right.
agree to
I want to
disagree?
elaborate. Let me elaborate
Can
on
we
this,
agree?
please.
Okay, go ahead.
Please. So, two reasons why One Chatham is not a merger to make City of Savannah and Chatham County one. That means Macon Bibb. That means Augusta Richmond County. Because the way that our charter is written, we can't do that. One. Two, no. One Chatham is basically putting a
Rub
pool
your
of
head,
money
man.
together. Is putting a pool of money together to leverage for different projects. For
That
example,
can't feel good coming out of your mouth. A
No.
pool of money. You know what I mean?
Well, it's-
The way-
What about that
it was-
slush fund?
It's a slush
What
fund.
about that
Same
slush
chairman.
fund?
all right, let's talk about this.
Commissioner, this is from the chairman who said, I don't.
I ain't
Inflation,
suffering.
inflation ain't bothering me.
I ain't
I'm not experiencing any pain. That's a personal question,
But
not a
that lady
political,
said- that
not an
lady
economic
said-
fact.
Applause.
Thank you. Yeah.
So listen, as far as this slush fund, when as y'all continuously say that, or those who continuously say that the One Chatham line item in the Chatham County's allocation list is a slush fund. It's a slap in the face to the other 8 commissioners, because none of that money can be spent without us. So none of that money can be spent without 5 votes. Without
so
a majority vote.
But I thought we couldn't illegally appoint CAP commissioner board members either. We this commission illegally appointed Tabitha Odell back on the CAP board first meeting of the term.
And where's your county manager?
So where is the respect for all 8 of y'all there?
And your chairman unilaterally fires your county manager.
Well, I mean,
the county manager is currently on administrative leave, and the chairman did suspend. He did suspend the county manager after engaging with us. That's all I'll say on that.
Okay, so let's dial it back and be serious. Okay, that was fun.
We are serious.
No, that was fun. That was fun. Okay, so we have 2 issues. We have 2 issues. You feel passionate about Tsplost, and from where we are sitting, Commissioner, we represent a Savannah where the majority, and I don't want to put this on the commission.
Yeah.
I want to let you know what my council has done.
Yes.
The majority on my council, excluding myself, Alderwoman Blakely, and Lanier, for 2 years have failed to roll back
taxes.
But y'all did. The commission did.
Yeah, we did a full rollback.
Y'all did a full rollback. I'm so proud of you.
We failed to roll back the millage.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what lost is for the record.
Okay, but we're not talking about loss.
No, we're about to.
We're
about to.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be our last point on Tsplost, and then we're going to move to the loss for about 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then we going home because it's 5 minutes to 10.
So, but this is going to be, well, actually, I'm live still.
Are you alive?
Yes.
We ain't got no internet in here.
Okay.
Load this up. Throw it now. Come on.
Whose phone is that? Yours or mine?
Yours. That's yours. That ain't mine.
So listen. So as a result of us failing not to roll back the millage, we have essentially, in the face of federal subsidies and the largest bailout that Savannah has ever seen, to the tune of $55 million, Chatham County about $50+ million, right? So how could we, in good conscience, vote for another penny?
Exactly.
On top. So that's where we're coming from.
But that's why they're going to take laws. You're going to take laws so that penny would not be.
We're not doing laws. We're still
I understand that, and I understand that wholeheartedly. And with that being the case, though, what you just said, right, where there hadn't been a rollback done, and so on and so forth, that is part of why the county's trying to step in and help the citizens by asking for a larger percentage of loss. Because we have been rolling back, and we will continue to use the money.
And I appreciate that.
So while y'all are dealt in that conundrum that you're with,
yes,
because ultimately, y'all have to determine where the
But at the end of the day, we need the county to recognize that Savannah is still your child, right?
It's our partner.
No, but that's the problem.
The citizens in Savannah vote for you all.
That's the problem.
So we're not partners.
How many children do you have?
I have 3.
And I have 3, right? And it's a chore.
And I have 10.
It's a chore to treat them all
4 biological,
right?
6.
It is a task.
Bonus.
It is. Because we have a tendency to hold the one who is most responsible, who dot all the I's, cross all the T's, do whatever you say. We have a tendency to forego their talent, their contribution,
their needs,
and the need that they have. But we do it because they give so much. But with all of our contributions, as the strongest city in the county, Savannah is also the most vulnerable.
Right. It does. It is.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why we need the county to recognize that. We need the county to recognize that, to the extent that if, one, there is no representation with this tax, right?
None.
And 2, if the only thing that Chester Ellis can tell me is how much money he's spending without acknowledging that you're at a deficit, I can't appreciate that.
And you're not basically telling us everything that you're spending it on. You're saying that, okay, this is the list that the city of Savannah got, but you want people to go ahead and vote for something and they don't know exactly what they're getting.
Well, but I can understand.
That.
But you got to understand my perspective in that
the
city of Savannah, those decisions are going to be made by that y'all council.
And guess what?
Let's agree. So, ADOT, let's agree that we'll do our best not to hold you accountable for the chairman if you don't hold them accountable for the mayor.
Well,
right?
And I know.
Because they don't have the majority Just like you may or may not. I don't really know
But
how
he's
the votes are breaking
trying.
down. But
I've
he's
been
doing
able
he's
to
doing
get-
it.
We don't want to make
Let's
that
just
man
say,
hard at
let's
work.
just say, of the Democrats on county commission, ADOT is the most accessible. We'd all agree. With
I've been
that,
able to
right?
get things done.
He's very
working
accessible.
with everybody on the commission.
But let's just take the arguments that have been made so far about loss. Okay, let me give you credit on the argument that when it comes to the criminal justice system, the city of Savannah is overloading the county. Right? I can agree to that statement. Okay. Lord knows we've seen some public battles around the DA's budget over the last 2 budget cycles since y'all have been on there.
And who was a part of those budgets?
I know that you were. And I just want to point out that talking about having a not good faith partner, you got the mayor of Savannah spending $200,000 of city tax dollars to hire a federal line prosecutor to prosecute interstate gun crimes, of which there might be 80 of them a year.
8 or 8.
You know, but there's 25,000 state criminal backlog cases up at the DA's office. So I want to say that if the county's position was, hey, for the last 10 years, we've been getting 23% of this loss, we need to get to 30. We need a third because we provide enough services that a move from 23 to 30%, 7% increase, that would be a 27.7% increase in share of revenue. I would call that reasonable. I would call that principled. I would say, given that the pressures the municipality of Savannah is putting on the county budget, that there is a need for more share of the lost revenue. But correct me and correct the room if we're wrong. The public position that I know of from the chairman is he wants 50% of the lost. Right? So 23 to 56 is an immensely bigger number, right?
Yeah, so first of all, let's inform the viewers about loss. Again, loss is local option sales tax. And basically the purpose of loss is defined by state law that lost proceeds shall be used for the purpose of assisting political subdivisions or cities or counties in funding all or any portions of the services which are provided by the governing authorities. Additionally, the loss can only be used to provide ad valorem tax relief. All right, so let's be clear on that. So first of all,
but it says local, not county. It's local.
Yeah, but the law also says that the county cannot only use their share in the unincorporated area.
Right.
What that means is just like that Tsplost list, the county is responsible we have to share our allocation with everybody. Not
You're
just
supposed to, because everybody is in the county.
Listen to me.
Okay, go
Please
ahead.
let me finish. All right, I'm not saying that we shouldn't. Everybody is in the county. Absolutely. There's 8 municipalities in Chatham County.
But it sounded like you all are
No,
trying to
you're
stop
not letting me.
You're
not letting me finish my point, and so you're making an assumption off of a portion of my sentence.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So with that being the case, though, all right. So with that being the case, do you know what the city or the municipalities wanted the county's share to be? Understanding that currently the county gets 23%. The municipalities get the rest, right? Do you know the rest of what's that? 67%?
77.
77%. Do you know who gets the biggest share of that 77?
Savannah.
Right. Who
But
should?
who generates the
Listen.
most of it?
I understand that. Let me finish. So that being the case, do you know what the city said they wanted to start out with? So we came out with 50%, right? Which some could say is ridiculous.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
What's the ridiculous number for the cities, please?
They wanted us to go to 14.
Yeah.
Which is equally as ridiculous.
I don't know if it's equally as ridiculous.
Okay,
it is ridiculous,
What
but
were
by
you
the
gonna do
numbers.
with the money outside of pissing and moaning about what you're spending it on?
Listen.
You're not saying that you're at a deficit. You're not saying that we've lost money. You're just talking about what you spent money on. And the fact of the matter is the Chatham County government doesn't spend enough money in Savannah.
Commissioner, if the county's position was if we do not get 31%, we're going to end it, I would probably be more likely to support your position. The fact of the matter remains that 9% less of 23 is a much lower statistical deviation than 23 to 50. So I'm just saying that's what math says.
If we can't start at 0, though, if we're at 23% and you want us to dial back,
I don't agree that you should get 14.
When the costs are going up, when
Let's
the
just
majority
start
of
where we are. No, don't start at 0. Start where we are.
I don't agree with that mayor's
23%.
Let me ask you another question. As I understand it, there are 6 men in the room. negotiating this. Jay
No
Melder,
No
Jay
women.
Melder,
The
Van.
mediator is a woman.
No, I'm talking
No,
about
the
the
mediator is
people
Michael
from the
Brown. I
governments,
heard
from
the
the
mediator
political
was Michael Brown.
subdivisions.
No.
No, it's
No,
a judge,
I'm talking about the representatives from the political
I went to the
subdivisions.
Michael
mediation.
Brown is a consultant.
for the city.
The representatives from the county and city. As I
You
understand
went
it,
to
there
the
are 6
mediation
of
for the
them.
city?
For the
All
county.
the
He's
first
in the
one.
loss negotiations for the county.
Mm.
As I understand it, the 6 individuals from the political subdivisions are you, Chairman Ellis, Michael Kegler, Jay Melder, Palumbo, and Van. That's all what I was told.
Nah.
Tell us
They
what.
left
Who is
out Linda. Linda's in there. Linda Kramer, who's our numbers. She's a assistant county manager.
CFO. Yeah.
She's the numbers lady. The mediator is a woman, but I'm not sure where you're getting at.
Melder and Kegler are in the room?
Yeah, Kegler's
Yeah.
there.
Melder's gotta
on
be
the
there.
county side. Jay Melder, I believe, was on the city side. Jay was there.
So the only female is from the county, and that's Linda Kramer.
And
he's
then
saying
you have like
mediators, too.
Rebecca Benton is at mediation. I don't think Mayor Benton showed up, but they have like their city manager. At one point in the early meetings, you had Mayor Sessions and Mayor Benton.
So
But
as
at mediation, we've only
representatives-
had one session of mediation.
So what's wrong with that whole picture?
Do you like negotiating with a gun to your head?
I don't.
Let me
negotiate.
explain. I know you wouldn't. Neither would I. I don't like it. I don't think that, and I think the taxpayers of Savannah are in that feeling right now.
Yes.
We have a loss negotiation going on in mediation behind closed doors, as it should. I'm not saying it shouldn't, but I'm just saying we're asking people to vote to tax themselves more with no certainty of that outcome yet.
Exactly.
And I just think we can all agree that that's a bad presentation.
Well, and you know what? Their cooler heads have said that, at least on the county side, that we got to figure something out with loss because Tsplost
I
is
appreciate
definitely
hearing
doomed. And so that is a conversation. The ball is in the city of Savannah's court at this point, as it relates to everything in the mediation. I won't go
And
into
who
details.
again from the city of Savannah is in the room?
My understanding was who I saw, Jay Melder. I want to say, I don't know if Alderwoman Estella Shabazz was at the mediation. She may have come late because how it started, we start in one room,
Who-
then we go to separate rooms. But who I did see
It
personally,
might
I
be
saw
David
Bates
Maxwell
Lovett.
too.
Who is it?
I saw Bates Lovett.
City
I
attorney.
saw Van. I saw Jay
Mayor
Melder for sure.
and the city attorney,
Mhm.
city manager. Okay, and so the people
Wow.
who have their finger on the pulse of the people,
Mhm.
the people who represent the entire city of Savannah and
Yes.
the district who's most impacted by this decision are not in the room.
Not
If
even-
Van's position
That's
really
problematic.
is
That's
14% as the county share, he just as hard headed as Chester Ellis. He just as responsible. Okay?
So
I'm not blaming you for
It
this.
might be
I just told you, like I told you, the fish fry.
designed
This is concerning.
for
called political.
loss
It's
to
political.
be lost.
Well, it is.
It's designed because
Because guess
now
what-
you gotta
guess what we
understand
went
who's
today?
pulling the strings.
today we went to the groundbreaking of Hyundai.
Hyundai.
And guess whose employees are going to need houses in Savannah?
Come on now.
And guess whose employees will be able to afford housing in Savannah if
All
the
lost?
ones that look like me.
lost.
The ones that look
All
like me.
9,000.
Exactly.
That's
Well,
right.
Exactly.
And let's be
White,
clear, that's
blonde
my
eyes.
district too.
Let's go back.
Bl-
Let's go back to
blonde
what I
hair,
said.
blue eyes.
Guess who will be able to afford housing in Savannah if loss is lost? Would you say?
People who look like me.
Come
So,
on.
Commissioner Whiteley, what we're saying is, how do we close the gap
Mhm.
of a $22 million shortfall?
Mhm.
That's what y'all have?
Oh, that's if
If loss goes away,
If
yes.
we give y'all 25% to get
If
to
we
50,
if
if
we
we
do
give
not
up to what
reach-
Chester
There's
wants,
two different things. See, you boisterous about one thing that she not saying. Because you said if it goes away, right?
if we do not negotiate, if we do not reach
And
an
it goes
agreement,
away.
and it
Mhm.
goes away,
Right.
we
mhm.
lose $55 million per
55
year.
million.
55 million in general ride.
55.
Now-
That's
50
20 mils. 20
yes,
mils.
yes.
On the property
So
tax.
now let's look at this, right? Who can lower taxes across the county?
You.
The county.
The county.
School board,
Right.
CAB,
Mhm.
And the county.
and the cities.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So where that's one thing. The cities are getting about $74 million in loss allocations right now, and they split it up based on their percentages. So that can still be met I don't think that we.
Hold on. At the meeting, hold on, wait a second.
You never let me
At
finish
the
the statement.
meeting,
You never
hold
let
on,
me
listen,
finish.
I gotta say this. Your chairman said at the meeting, well, the city can get money. They can get the money from their enterprise fund, from their capital improvement funds.
And
no, you cannot.
Yes, they can. Y'all just passed what? Enterprise fees or something like that. What did y'all just pass? Franchise fees, right?
This is a personal conversation I'll have with you later, but it reminded me of something you just told me today. That's sad.
It's so sad.
That's a sad commentary.
You remember when we first met? You remember when we first met?
Yeah, I wanted to slap shit out of you.
I know you did.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Let me finish.
Hold on now. This a clean show.
Excuse me.
It's a clean show.
Let me finish my point though. Do you know what the city can do that the county cannot?
What?
What they have been doing? Expand its tax base. Every time that the city of Savannah annexes somewhere, and what do? They say we're going to put in water and sewer at our own cost to annex you, right? So Highlands, y'all did that, and I'm not y'all. I'm saying the city of Savannah.
The same Michael Brown did.
The same Michael Brown that is a consultant for the city.
But
which is why we're in the situation we're in now.
So because previous politicians made mistakes, they're making another mistake by fighting for against the tax.
The
point I'm trying to make
ever
is we deserve
individuals that
when you
ever
look at all the different shares
Savannah.
throughout the state, the Chatham County and I think it's Fulton County are the two lowest.
Yeah, I said it moment.
Everybody else is getting.
That's a
over
yes,
50%.
she said it moment.
Atlanta. Let's see. If we go to an Atlanta county, right? Clayton County. Clayton County gets 66% of loss, and that's home to College Park, Forest Park, Jonesboro, Lake City. You know, so the point I'm trying to make is
they didn't get to 66% in one renegotiation.
And I agree. I agree. It should be gradual. Chuck, I will give you that. I think I will give you that. 50% is too big of a bite.
With that?
Again, I can't go into details. I'm one voice, but I can say that cooler heads have said that we should take a gradual approach. We cannot just snatch the rug like that. It needs to be a gradual.
You're one of the heads with a very better vocabulary.
I try to be.
I mean, Commissioner, if you got it to 31%, most of the opposition would go away.
Well,
really, because that is the number that I believe is a fair share.
But again, we got to make sure that everybody else feels that way.
I hear you.
But why can't it stay where it is?
No, ma'am.
I just want to go back to something
because
you mentioned.
Why can't it stay where it is?
But your costs are going up, but your costs are covered.
Our costs are going up. No.
Your costs are covered.
Yes.
Every time.
If SCAD and the port were paying their fair share, they might be.
Are you experiencing a deficit? Are you experiencing a deficit?
No, they're not experiencing a deficit.
We're not experiencing a deficit.
Ain't no government's got deficits right now.
We did do a rollback in understanding that we may have to raise the millage.
Would you agree with me? If there is no lack and no need, why is there such a need for a grant?
It's called greed.
Do you remember in 2014?
Hold on, just a second. I want to answer that question. You talked about the district attorney, right? Saying she needed more people.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God! Don't even
go there. Don't even go there with the district attorney.
I can go there because I put my name on the line to get her more money. I put my name on the line to get her more money.
Chester Ellis has treated Shalana Cook-Jones
like a second class
citizen.
I'm not Chester Ellis. I put my name on the line to help her get more money.
Chester Ellis
I can say what I'm about to say.
But she hasn't received more money, and nor has
She did receive more money. She did receive more money. She did not receive 4 positions. She received 2 positions.
She got half of it. She got halfway.
She did. Yes. Look, and I fought for that. You know what I'm saying? So
you did,
but I'm not.
You did, but you came up a little short because of the other commissioners. I'm just saying, we came up short supporting this.
But even if you had given her what she needed, even if you give the tax commissioner Sonia Jackson what she needs, you guys still would be doing good. You still would be above board.
You would be doing better.
Above water. Like why come with this aggressive grab if it's really not needed?
Because the chamber has told them to do that. Let's just be clear.
No, the chamber was hired to push it. We told the chamber to do what they do.
Okay, nah.
But the chamber also retired the debt of your commissioner.
Thank you.
And we're going to end the show right
Thank you.
I just want to ask you, because you said about 30
You want to say goodnight?
I just want to add.
Y'all, look here. We're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to conclude. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to conclude, and then I'm gonna say what I say.
All I'm gonna say is,
and then we're gonna end this show.
When I met this man 8 years ago, we were both managing opposite sides of a Democratic primary congressional campaign, and during the Martin Luther King.
Who were they?
Amy Tavio, I was managing Amy's campaign.
And
he was
Brian
managing
Reese.
Brian Reese's campaign.
I wasn't managing. I was just
well.
chief
He was the chief. He was the guy. He was the guy. We'll just say that. 2014, Edna Jackson is still mayor at this time. This is how long ago this is. Okay, we had this huge Martin Luther King Jr. Day breakfast like we always do. And it was at the convention center on Hutchinson Island.
Right? I was there.
You remember? You remember what happened? You were there? You remember? Do you remember this? You weren't there for? Okay, so what happened was that was the morning of the tire fire at the port. Okay, anybody who remembers that?
Oh, I wasn't there.
The tire fire.
I got video of it.
The flame shot 70 feet in the air. The smoke filled the entirety of the sky.
Yes.
That port is not located in the municipal boundaries of Savannah. But yet it was City of Savannah firefighters who fought that fight and put that fire out. So I just want to point out that City of Savannah has as large or larger of an M&O budget as the county does. We provide services, and most importantly, we provide the economic vitality for the majority of this county, right? I think we'll all agree that there's some points on both sides that we need to concede. I'll agree that you're not the chairman. You're not responsible for One Chatham. Even though it's some bull, even though it's a weak point, you're not personally responsible. Just like these ladies are not responsible for what the mayor is doing, and his 5 cronies and 18 million task forces. So, I just want to point out, the commissioner has made some valued points tonight. I'd like to think that if it were him and I in the room, we'd probably be able to nail out a deal.
Definitely.
But when the mayor is asking for a 9% reduction and the chairman is asking for a 27% increase, both of these men need to go. So that's all I'm gonna lead with, and I really appreciate you sitting down to do this debate, Commissioner.
Yeah, man. Well, so as I said before, the reason why I'm supporting Tsplost is because I'd rather see the cost shared with visitors rather than it be on the backs of citizens, of homeowners and renters. When we talk about the needs, when we talk about the areas that are flooding, when we talk about our roads that are terrible, these are all things that need to be addressed. If we're not going to make cuts in the budget and so on and so forth to try to make things happen, then the money's got to come from somewhere, and that's on the backs of citizens. And I'm not a fan of raising taxes, nor am I a fan of raising the cost of living for our citizens. It's already tough enough. Now, I do agree that Chuck definitely has some good points. Keisha, Alderwoman Gibson Carter had a lot of good points, as well as Alderwoman Blakely. I think my biggest challenge with each of those, my biggest challenge was that when it comes to the Tsplost allocations, it is up to those local municipalities to determine how that is spent. Yes, these 2 alderwomen are in the minority, and that means that the chances of them playing a bigger role in the decision making are slim. And so I will acknowledge that, and that does not deserve to be overlooked. But there's also other cities in the county, and so when I'm speaking, I understand and I sympathize with what you guys are going through, ladies. And I have to also consider everything as a whole. So it is a very complex situation, and I can't speak on the happenings of the city of Savannah because I'm not part of that. However, I can say that I know that you 2 ladies do have your finger on the pulse, and I appreciate your efforts. Though we may not always agree on how we go about things, I do think we all agree that the people are what's most important. So I appreciate that. But with that, I appreciate all of y'all's time. I appreciate you having me on the show. And I'm always willing to come, and I'm always willing to be with the smoke.
Thank you
You're certainly
so
more
much.
empathetic than your chairman. I give you a lot of credit there.
I'm going to end this with some facts. Thanks to
the first one term
Chuck Fagan and John McMasters giving us this information. Okay, sales tax is charged on the vast majority of goods purchased by locals and visitors. Let's see, visitors 35% and locals 65%. Okay, hold on. Okay, loss is the only sales tax collected locally allowed for maintenance and operations, also known as the general fund for the city. Okay, if the negotiations fail, Chatham County loses $24 million a year in revenue, potential tax county increase of 2 to 3 mils. Okay, Savannah loses $57 million a year in revenue, potential tax increase of 6 to 11 mils. A $200,000 property would have to pay in new tax, current total mill rate 44.3. Proposed new mill rate would be 53. Okay, 18 to 13 mils increase in property taxes would double all owner-occupied homes. Stevens Day, non-Stevens Day property renters would see the property tax bills go up 200 to 600% in 1 year. Okay, rent increases on residential rents or retail rent will be dramatic for the 3rd straight year, further pressuring low-income, fixed-income Savannahans out of the city. Example, owner-occupied Stevens Day homes with assessed values of $100,000, current total millage rate 0.443, total city, county, cat, school board taxes $3,875, give or take, depending on when Stevens Day was filed. New taxes would be, listen to this, y'all, $5,025. This is a 29% increase in total rate of property taxes. Non-owner occupied, no Stevens Day property, renters and businesses. Current assessed valuation for taxes, $100,000. New assessment for valuation, $120,000. 20% increase in line with valuations. Current tax bill, $4,430. The new tax bill, $6,360. This is a 44% increase in taxes being passed along in the next lease renewal. The loss negotiation has become the sole responsibility of, listen to this, J. Melda, Van Johnson, Nick Palumbo, Chester Ellis, Aaron A. Whiteley, and Michael Kegler.
You can add Linda Kramer and a couple others that we
wait a minute now. I'm going to have to say, hold on, let me correct this because he said that he did not see Nick Palumbo in the room. So we're going to take his name off until we get verification that he was actually one of the ones that was in the room.
But what I want to say is...
Hold on, I need to clear that up because that's not accurate. There was, in that room for the county, Commissioner Aaron Whiteley, Chairman Chester Ellis, Commissioner Kenneth Adams, Michael Kegler, John Hart, Linda Kramer, and John Eves, a consultant that we've hired.
Y'all hired John Eves from Fulton, who just got done running for Secretary of State in the primary? Wow.
Well, they hired Sean Evans as their PIO person.
Y'all did hire Sean as your PIO. You know about that?
How do you hire
public information officer?
You didn't make that happen.
That's a management decision.
Oh my God!
So the interim city county manager made that decision.
The only way you get a job as PIO of the county of Chatham from the largest propaganda machine in Savannah, WTOC, is that you have carried the water for the establishment. Congratulations, Sean Evans.
Now, well, y'all, let me say this right here,
to what you
and then we're gonna end this. Hold 1 second.
You work here now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me say this right here.
That whole part.
I am totally against Tsplost. Y'all just got the facts. Y'all just heard the numbers.
That
this
was
would
about
be.
Let him go back because
hold on. I'm totally. Listen.
No.
I am
totally. 5 people in the room.
Let me finish my statement.
I want to know here who he's
hold
in the room
on. Let me finish.
Let
me finish my
who
statement.
Who's in the room for the city of Savannah?
I am against Tsplost until they come to a agreement with loss.
Okay.
Okay,
Gotcha.
I told you. Let
You
me finish
can't.
my statement.
You can't.
So
trade
now,
one off
if
for the
they're
other. That's
not
right.
gonna come
Fundamentally,
to
that
an
is not right.
agreement
That's not
with
right.
loss, and in my opinion, they're holding loss over our head as a city.
But don't join in on that. Don't join in on that.
Listen, let me. Are you gonna let me finish?
No, because you can't. I'm
now,
not
what
let
I'm saying, this me talking
okay,
now.
Well,
this me talking. You have your opinion, I have mine.
Say something
so
different.
I'm not. You can't tell me what the dad gonna say.
You better start.
Now, what I'm saying is this: until we get loss negotiations under control, now, and until we are clear on what Tsplost is gonna do, I'm not going for it. Okay, now, like I said before, I'm not with Tsplost because I'm paying into a system and I ain't getting no return on my investment in my community. Where I live on the south side of Savannah. We are lost. We are lost. We don't get Tsplost. We don't get lost Splost. We don't get no Splost. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's my take.
We both have a lot of experience in corporate America, right?
Now,
one thing businesses hate is uncertainty.
Hold on. Don't just interrupt. Don't interrupt. Let me. I'm trying to close the doggone show out now. You stormed your behind up out of here a minute ago, and you better be glad you ain't got your butt cussed out about that. Now, Alderwoman Gibson Carter, you got 3 minutes to say what you got to say, and then y'all, we closing this thing out. Let me find a good song.
I want to say who were the people. You named 5 people who are in the room for the county. Who was in the room for the city?
Again, when it started, I only saw Jay Bates Lovett, and the mayor. Yeah, and the mayor. Now, after it got started, it could have been different. You know what I'm saying? Because we went into separate rooms and we stayed in separate rooms. We ate lunch in our own room. So if anybody came after.
So what you mean separate rooms? Who was in the room with you when you went in the separate room?
Those names I just called out.
Yeah, you said y'all was in the separate room.
Yeah, then the mediator goes from
okay, got
so
you.
So you had those 5 people. That's
against those 3 people.
No, I'm pretty sure there was more over there. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't recognize everybody else.
But you didn't see me. You didn't see Alderwoman Blakely,
no, I did not
and you didn't see Alderwoman Lanier.
No, neither.
Okay, so you were. So now, do you have appreciation for why we can't support this?
I understand that. I do.
Now
100%.
that you know, right?
It's not about us not being at the table. It's not about. It's about more about our people
representing the people,
not being represented.
And I understand that, and I totally agree with you.
And the final point I want to make or raise, Commissioner, and thank you for giving me. You are so
welcome, and thank you for coming, and thank you, Chuck. You stormed out again.
I'm mad.
But that's okay. But thank you as well. Thank all of y'all. Thank y'all for us having this conversation. And y'all know what I have to say to us. It is almost 10:30 at night. I told you 5 minutes, sister.
Okay,
now you done
did. The only last point, Commissioner, I want to make is, at the end of the day, we deal in numbers, right? And we care about the lives that those numbers represent.
Exactly.
And that is the fact that we will be left with filling a huge gap if loss negotiations are not arrived at.
And so
If we do not arrive at an agreement for loss, it will signal the one act that will represent the biggest act of forced displacement Savannah has ever seen.
Yes.
And I don't know that any sitting official will want to be a part of.
No.
Yes, sir.
So the county.
So that means you're going to go and do what you got to do.
The county does not want loss to end. But what if I told you we do not want loss to end? But what if I told you that the narrative that's all part of the plan? That is what folks want you to say to make you guys believe this. We are witnessing what we call political chicken, folks, and that's what it is.
Okay, so
Because-
you think that we're going to reach a negotiation? You think we're going to?
Yeah, I feel very confident that
that's
loss
good
is not
because
going
I'm
away.
at the point where my thought is after having a day where I see the rollout of the Hyundai dealership, recognizing that those thousands of people are going to need housing. I do recognize the same people who are on the financial disclosures for Chester Ellis are the same people who are on the financial disclosures for Van Johnson.
That's right.
And so I am beyond the thought to believe that they're in a pissing contest, for lack of better words. I don't think that this is a ego thing. I think that the puppet masters have the strings, and the strings of the puppet masters are the same for Van and the same for Chester.
That's right.
And so
It's
at the
all
end
the
of the
chamber.
day, that's my assessment, and I firmly believe that with my whole heart from what I have experienced since being in public office and since seeing what I see and recognizing how things actually work in this town. I think they would want us to believe that one person is responsible for the failure when
that's not the case.
Right.
All right, y'all. Well, listen. Hold on. I have to end this. Give me a good song to end this on.
I got you.
Give me a good song. I need something good now.
I got you.
And I want to say, Vanessa, thank you so much, sister, for staying with us.
Thank y'all.
Yes,
y'all.
ma'am.
Were you live?
I hope. No, she's recording.
I'm recording.
Okay, well, I was live, and I'm going to turn this way because I was horizontal, and I think that's the way you're supposed to be, but horizontal, you can't see the comments. I'm going to rotate.
Why did you have it horizontal
and I'm going
and not
see
vertical?
Because they tell me that that's how you're supposed to film.
That's not true.
Oh.
Is that true?
What?
What she just said. Vanessa, you have comments?
Well, Elaine Bailey has been watching. That's the only person that I see. Oh no, there's a lot of people watching. Okay, so I'm gonna do your. Can I do your shout out?
Yes.
Can I do your shout out and close the
Please shout out.
Okay,
people.
listen, Savannah. We had a lot of fun tonight, but this is a serious matter. I hope you listened intently, and I hope that you are paying attention to what's going on in Savannah Chatham. So, Pawnee Reed, that's my guy. Listen.
Oh, I know they was probably.
Oh, I love you guys. Blessings to you. Ivy Nesbitt is watching. Tyler Green. Keisha
Flu.
Small.
Hey, y'all.
Listen, Bernice Brisbane. Ethel Hannon. Hey, Ethel. Listen, I have to get with you, Miss Ethel. Michael Dees. Shonda Stevenson. Hey, Shonda. We're getting ready to crank up Kwanzaa Crawl. Leela Wilson. Hey, Miss Leela. Jessica Lee. Hey, Jessica. We'll see you at Wild Out Wednesday. Who is this? Janice Flowers. Bernard Roberson. Monisha
Bernard.
Washington.
Hey, Bernard.
Hey, classmate. Hey, Uncle Hollis.
Hey, Hollis.
And Diane.
Oh, wait a minute. You was live?
I'm still live.
Ah!
I'm pretending to be you right now because I don't do this on my show.
No.
I do the show and I go. Right?
Oh my God.
I'm having fun tonight.
Yes.
I'm playing Autumn and Blakely. Beverly Tapley Hubbard. Oh, that's Karen's mom. Hey, Miss Hubbard. Audrey Baker.
Hold on, let me say this.
Ms.
all of y'all
Cooper,
that's
Nina,
watching,
your phone call.
all of y'all that's watching, vote no for Tsplost.
Vote yes.
Vote no.
Vote yes.
No. We don't know. We vote no. I'm so serious.
Audrey
Until
Harris,
we get to where we need to be, not no.
Oh, Miss Bellinger. God bless Miss Bellinger. And
I ain't said that bad word, but heck no. Heck
hey,
no.
Elaine,
A-Dot. No.
Member.
No,
Listen,
no.
We had some folks watching y'all tonight.
Yes.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for engaging.
Yeah.
And thank you for being our producer.
But wait a minute. Let me say this.
Guest producer.
You thank y'all so much. What my eyes see and my ears hear determine what comes out of this mouth, y'all.
My camera works too.
My camera works too.
Look at my camera.
You see this thing talking about? Look at that camera.
Producer.
What my eyes see and my ears hear determine what comes out of this mouth, y'all. I no longer raise hell. Baby, we are raising awareness. Now, I want y'all to understand this, recognize and realize we would have been live here tonight, but for some strange reason, I don't know what it is. I guess Metaverse said, nah, y'all ain't talking about that. But guess what? Get P1.
It's done. P2.
I got you.
Good night,
Yeah,
Savannah.
me tonight. Good night, Savannah.
Let's go.
All right.
You gotta cut that one off.
All
too,
right.
Stacey.
Yeah, right there. Just hit that button up, the black and white button right there. Yeah, hit that. There you go.